Welcome to Murders and Minivans, where the coffee is cold, the kids are wild, and the crimes are absolutely unhinged. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Tally. Let's talk murders, motherhood, and why we trust absolutely no one. Oh, that's terrifying.
But he knows I can't handle that. So as I walked by, he popped his head out. He's like, hi, Mom.
Where was he hiding?
He was hiding. So right now, his favorite cousin is sleeping in his room.
Yeah.
So it's his bed, and then there's a single mattress on the floor. And his bed is a day bed. So he was hiding in the edge of the day bed because I pull it back from the exterior wall because the heat vent is there. So he was sitting crouched tiny just on the little heat vent, hiding behind his bed frame. So he popped up, hi, Mom. And then popped back down. I'm like, oh, thank God.
That's terrifying.
He's too good at hide and seek, and he knows it stresses me out.
He's patient.
He is so patient.
I'd be upset. I gave myself 20 minutes to scare you guys in your house.
It still didn't work.
Yeah.
Because you're we're done. I need you to hurry up, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Brian's brother, I always remember the story. He was playing hide and go seek with his kids, and they're older. And they couldn't find him, and he's short. So he, under the table here, there's the...
Wow.
Things, he, starfished.
Oh, wow.
How fit do you have to be?
I don't know. Spider-Man fit.
Yeah, so I don't know if he was, taking breaks. I'm like, that's really good core strength.
See, in my nightmare, I think it's an urban legend. I don't even know that it ever really happened. Was that a kid, goes in a fridge or a freezer and then suffocates because there's no air in there?
I listened to a horrendous podcast episode this morning.
Like that?
Yes.
Ugh.
A little boy passed away, and, the stepdad said that he locked himself in the toy box.
Yeah,
but there's no evidence of that.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I would ever cover that story, to be honest. I struggle a lot with,
the kid deaths. Yeah. No, it's very difficult. Even when I'm thinking of our oil field one. Mm-hmm. That one was rough.
Yeah. So I think
anything kid related, or that one where he pulled the kids quickly and then set the house on fire. That one was awful too.
I struggle a lot with those. So
yeah.
But I also know that people want to consume that too. So I'm like, well, I have to include it at some point.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll warn you though.
It's kind of every time a dog dies in a movie, I'm like, fuck this movie.
Oh God! At the girls' dance competition, there was a girl who was doing a contemporary dance piece, and it was to a country song.
No,
I was like, how did you do that?
Don't like where this is going.
Yeah, but she did incredible, and the song was about a dog dying, I guess. I can't remember the country song, and so my eyes aren't that great, so I was trying to see what she was holding. She had a prop, and Brian's like, it's her dog collar. And the second he said that, when you're trying to not cry and you're holding your breath.
Yes, that's how I felt during P.S. I Love You.
Oh,
I stupidly saw that in the theater. God. Wasn't expecting it, and I sobbed. I had a headache. I was so tired of crying.
Yes. I remember seeing that movie in the theater too.
Oh, I saw Marley and Me in the theater?
Yeah.
Oh, that was
That's a rough
nightmare.
One. I'll never watch that one again.
No, never. No.
Same with A Star is Born.
Oh, I didn't watch that one.
That was really bad. And then My Sister's Keeper. I don't think I've ever cried that hard.
No, I read the book, and the opposite sister dies in the book.
Yeah, that's what everybody said.
Yeah.
And then...
Which I feel makes more of an impact.
Yeah. It was awful. And I watched it before I had kids.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way
I'm never watching it again. No, never.
Yeah. It's terrible.
I don't like crying, but I just do it a lot, especially in Pixar movies. It doesn't have to be sad.
You do cry a lot at movies.
Oh, it does. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but it makes me feel better that Neil cries first usually.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, but I took the kids alone to see, what was that movie? Hopper, yeah. And it was cute. But right away, the kid has a hard time at school because she has anger issues, and it's a little girl.
Oh,
and then so every time they send her, she gets suspended, kind of. They don't really say the words, but she's asked to leave for a bit.
Yeah.
They take her to her grandma, and of course it's the grandma, and she's aging. And so after she graduates, she decides to stay with her grandma instead of going away because her family moves. And the grandma dies. And so the whole time her grandma's protect this reserve, this area. And then the new mayor comes in and tries to construct a big freeway bridge through the nice reserve. And so that's the whole movie mostly.
That's very predictable, but it is a Pixar movie.
Oh, yeah, of course. It's a Pixar movie. But then in front of this movie, they played a preview for the new Toy Story movie.
Oh,
like,
no.
Could you cut it out with these movies?
I know. The girls are excited about the Mario one.
Okay, that I didn't actually cry in Mario, I think.
No.
Yeah. That comes out April 1st.
Yeah, that one should be safe.
Yeah.
What was the other one that... Oh, P never really cries. I don't think she's ever cried in movies. But we were watching Bolt.
Oh, yeah. We've seen that a few
And
times.
I
think we have it.
I got up from the couch to get a drink of water. She was fine. And something happened at the end. And I can't remember what it was even. And I just look over her and she's just sobbing. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? Are you okay?
Yeah.
And she was like so sad. She's like, oh, I never want to watch this again.
Oh, I think like Bolt saves her. I can't super remember the end.
Something like that. Oh, yeah.
But he lives. You think he dies in the fire?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's it. That's where she was crying.
Like, could you imagine if we had them watch Homeward Bound? Do you remember that movie?
No.
With the 2 dogs and then the cat?
I think I was too foreign.
Maybe. Because that's a very common. Every child watched that in the 90s.
No. Why did we do that?
So it was a golden retriever, a cat, and like kind of like a bulldog boxer cross dog.
Cute.
And the golden retriever is the old guy. And so like the family goes on vacation, puts them in a kennel, but they're afraid their family's gone. So they try to travel the huge distance back home to find their family. And at the end, Shadow is his name. It still haunts me. You don't think the golden retriever made it because he gets stuck in a big mud pit and he's too old to get out of the hole.
Stop.
It's horrible. Don't worry. I'm going to spoil it. He gets out and he makes it home. But it's awful.
If I even see a golden retriever
like I'm sad
with a
right
gray
now.
face.
Oh, I know.
That
Like the time is nigh. Yeah,
and if they
awful.
take a while to walk.
Oh my God, yeah.
No. We should have talked about happier things.
Dog stuff ruins
very
me.
Awful.
What else could we talk about?
Nothing. We're sad now. We're
I
going to get
know.
more sad.
Like I talked about chips with my sisters-in-law. Chips are good.
So, Moscow, Idaho is a college town. Small, quiet, the kind of place where the big excitement is a vandal football game or a night out on Main Street. Every small town has a Main Street. Mm-hmm. The University of Idaho is the whole reason that the town exists at the scale that it does. As of 2022, it hadn't seen a murder in 7 years, which is crazy. But also, like when I think about our town, it's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute.
Mm-hmm.
Does that not mean what I want it to mean?
No. Now I'm just thinking, has it been a minute?
It's been a very slow minute.
I'm thinking about the time, or
yeah,
the town
it's been
over.
about 3 years.
Put a pin in that.
Deal.
So it's the kind of community that really makes parents breathe easier when they drop their kid off for freshman year. About 8 miles west of Moscow, Moscow. It's not Moscow. It's not Russia. Okay. About 8 miles west of Moscow, 8 miles, a 10-minute drive, is Pullman, Washington, which is home of Washington State University. 2 college towns side by side sharing a police radio frequency. They borrowed equipment from each other and they helped each other out a lot. So it's like collegial little twin cities in the middle of a lot of farmland and rolling hills, which this proximity between the towns becomes very important later. Now the house. 1122 King Road. It was a 3-story rental on a hillside, 6 bedrooms, and it was home to 5 female University of Idaho students. And it sat in that particular off-campus zone that college houses always occupy, so like close to campus, close to the bars, and the kind of place where like people are always in and out. You remember what that's like. Mm-hmm. The layout is also important. So there's 2 bedrooms on the 3rd floor, and a kitchen, 2 more bedrooms on the 2nd floor, and then another bedroom on the 1st floor, so like main floor. The house had entrances on both the 1st and 2nd floors because of how it sat on the hill. Living there was Kaylee Goncalves.
Good one.
Nope.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Kaylee Goncalves. I don't want to say her last name wrong. I'm going to say Kaylee G, because I don't want to disrespect. And Madison Mogen on the 3rd floor. Xana Kernodle and a surviving roommate named Dylan Mortensen were on the 2nd floor. And another surviving roommate, Bethany Funk, on the 1st floor. I'll tell you about the victims first. Kaylee was 21, and she was a senior general studies manager. And again, I'm going to try so hard to get these names right, because this is a fraternity? Fraternity is like...
Fraternity is the boys.
What's the girls?
Sorority.
Sorority. There's a lot of sorority terms in here.
Okay.
And us as Canadians, we don't have that culture here.
We have it's not as big here. It's like
Is it a thing here?
Yeah, someone tried to pledge me at U of A.
What?
Yeah, it exists, but they're not like the States.
It's not like the Greeks?
But they do have houses.
Wild.
Yeah, they're still on campus.
You should tell me more about that.
I don't really, because I didn't pledge. You have to spend a lot of money. Like, it was a few grand to join this sorority, even if you don't live there in the house. But you can live in the house with them.
Every summer, this is my favorite guilty pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Every summer on TikTok, the pledges, like the girls that pledge to their sororities, it goes like super popular on TikTok. Mm-hmm. And then they pick, like, you have to get like a specific outfit to pledge.
Yes.
And so I watch these outfits, and then some of the girls I'll follow. I'm like, did you get in?
Did they get in?
I can't remember from last summer.
Yeah, Canada's very small, and they have very much different ones, almost to like lifestyles. So there is like a farm fraternity and different sororities based on, like, there are some family legacies. It was interesting.
The Mean Girls.
There are some, even in Canada, and where I went to university. So it does exist. It's not as big as it is in the States.
Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of for everything. Mm-hmm. Kaylee was in Alpha Phi. Mm-hmm. Alpha Phi. She grew up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and she had been best friends with Madison Mogen since they were kids. She was set to graduate in December, so a semester early. She had already had a job lined up at an IT firm in Texas, and she was planning to move right after graduation. So she was almost
good for her.
Yeah. Maddie Mogen was also 21 and from Coeur d'Alene. They had been inseparable since childhood. Maddie was a marketing major, Pi Beta Phi. Worked part-time at a restaurant called the Mad Greek. And her family later described her as kind, loving, and vivacious.
Got it.
Killing it. Okay.
Mm-hmm, you are.
Xana Kernodle was 20 from Avondale, Arizona, by way of Post Falls, Idaho. She was a junior and a marketing major, also Pi Beta Phi.
Beta Phi, you were so close. You got it right the first time.
Sorry.
No, you're doing great.
Pi Beta Phi. And she also worked at the Mad Greek, and her boyfriend, Ethan Chapin, was staying with her that weekend. Ethan was 20, and he grew up in Mount Vernon, Washington, and he was one of a set of triplets close to his siblings and his parents. Wow. He was a sophomore studying recreation, sport, and tourism management, and he was in Sigma Chi.
That one's different. Chi, maybe.
I'm going to get hate comments.
That's okay. We'll deal with it.
By all accounts, he was warm, goofy, and the kind of kid who didn't take himself too seriously.
Oh, I like those people.
Right? Mm-hmm. He was only at that house because he was staying with Xana. So, Saturday night, November 12th. All 5 housemates are doing what you would expect college kids to do on a Saturday in a small college town. So Xana and Ethan head to a Sigma Chi party, forgive me, please, on campus, and they come home around 1:45 in the morning. Kaylee and Maddie go to a downtown bar called the Corner Club and then swing by a food truck called the Grub Truck before getting home at 1:56 a.m. So everyone is home at 2 a.m. and the house is full. The lights were probably winding down. People were tired and drunk and settling in. Good times.
Yeah. Great times.
Between 2:26 and 2:52 in the morning, Kaylee and Maddie's phones made several calls to Kaylee's ex-boyfriend, a fellow student, but the calls went unanswered. This gets scrutinized later, but ultimately it's like nothing really in the case.
Yeah.
It's just a detail that's there, which is kind of like sad in retrospect.
It's kind of sad already.
Yeah. So by 4 a.m., most people in that house were presumably asleep. Here's what investigators believe happened between 4 and 4:25 a.m. Someone entered the house, someone wearing black clothing and a mask, and in a 25-minute window, 4 people were stabbed to death.
Wow, that's pretty fast, isn't it?
Yeah, this case is crazy.
Like if you think 5 minutes a person and then 5 for travel.
It's a lot of work, too. I think
it's a lot of work.
That, yeah.
Why is there another stabbing? Didn't I just scold you for this?
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
But to be fair, I want to talk about this one before.
This is kind of fun. In a murder way. Sorority stuff. It's kind of fun. People like that stuff.
This is an awful case.
Fine.
You're gonna take backseat that comment. So the order isn't confirmed with certainty, but here's what we know from evidence and testimony. So Xana had just gotten a DoorDash delivery around 4 a.m., so she was still awake. She was using TikTok on her phone at 4:12, which means that she was alive and scrolling her phone 12 minutes into that window. and then she just stops using her phone. Dylan Mortensen, the surviving roommate on the second floor, was awoken by a noise. She initially thought that it was just Kaylee and her dog upstairs. Then she heard something that sounded like someone saying, "There's someone here," and then crying from Xana's room.
Oh.
So she opened her door, and then she heard a male voice that she didn't recognize calmly say, "It's okay, I'm going to help you."
Oh, good grief.
Dylan opened her door a third time and came face to face with a figure in all black wearing a mask that covered his nose and mouth. He walked right past her through the kitchen and out of the sliding glass door. She froze. She later told investigators that she was in a frozen shock phase, and she went back into her room and locked the door. She told authorities that she did not call 911 immediately because she was drunk and she didn't want to believe what was happening. Which, like, I can understand that. I remember being, like, young and drunk and, like, thinking that I'm seeing something. But then you, again, gaslight yourself. You're like, am I just wasted? Or
I feel like a murder.
Or like somebody in your house.
An intruder.
She didn't know that it was a murder yet.
But an intruder in your house.
But then you're like, well, is it just somebody that they brought home?
With a ski mask on?
Yeah, I don't know. I really remember being young.
What year is this again?
2022?
Sounds pretty recent.
It is recent.
Okay, so maybe it's a fetish thing. Okay, fine. Pass.
A fetish.
Yeah, with like Lights Out, those books, those dark romances where he wears a ski mask.
I don't think those are books that people read.
Most people read dark romances. Maybe not most. I think that's too far of a generalization.
Yeah.
A fair amount of people read dark romances, and Lights Out is a very big deal right now.
Oh, that's the one that Jess told me to read.
No, we would not let you read that.
She said as a joke, I think.
No, yeah, you shouldn't read that. Yeah, you won't like it.
No, so I think that she was just confused.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
I think, yeah.
Especially if you're drinking, yeah.
And you're so young,
yes.
right?
Why would something as horrible as that happen to you? Yeah,
exactly.
Fair.
So security cameras near the house picked up whimpering, a loud thud, and then a dog barking repeatedly at 4:17 a.m. By 4:26 a.m., Dylan had gone downstairs to join Bethany in her first floor bedroom. On the way, she passed Xana's room and saw her lying on the floor, but she just thought that she was drunk. Mm-hmm. So the two surviving roommates locked themselves in Bethany's room. They spent hours trying to reach their housemates, getting no response. They're probably telling themselves that it was fine. It had to be fine. Like, what could
yeah, why would you assume the worst?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, it was not fine. The next morning, a friend came over and went upstairs. They found that Xana and Ethan had no pulse. He told everybody to get out. Bethany called 911 at 11:55 a.m. requesting help for an unconscious person. All 4 victims were pronounced dead at that house that afternoon. Xana and Ethan were found in her second floor bedroom. Xana was on the floor, Ethan was in the bed. Maddie and Kaylee were found together in Maddie's bed on the 3rd floor. That breaks my heart because they were like childhood friends.
That's sad.
Oh God. The knife wounds were catastrophic. Kaylee had more than 30 stab wounds along with injuries connected to asphyxiation and blunt force trauma.
Holy.
Xana had more than 50 stab wounds. Most of them were defensive wounds. 50. So Xana fought hard.
Mm-hmm. Good for her.
Yeah. None of them were gagged or restrained. Nobody was sexually assaulted. Kaylee's dog was a small dog that she shared with her ex, was found on the 3rd floor unharmed.
Thank goodness. Because I'm sorry, but it attacks to dogs. No.
Yeah. It's funny how often you see the dog left unharmed, and it's like this.
Thank goodness.
The killer can either
people are okay, not animals.
People are okay. This dog is so cute. This dog is fine. It's interesting to me.
It is interesting.
Yeah, the line that murders.
Yeah, this is I'm not gonna hurt an animal.
I'm not a monster. It's like weird justifications that they play inside their head.
Yep.
So the Moscow Police Department is not a large agency, of course. Like, it's not like Chicago or LA. They ended up calling in the Idaho State Police and the FBI. Eventually, nearly 130 law enforcement personnel would work this case.
Wow.
And in those first days, all the public knew was that 4 students were stabbed to death at 4 a.m. in an off-campus house, and there was no suspect or no arrest. So you can imagine how insane this went.
Yeah.
On the internet. Not insane enough for you to hear about it. But
no, not at all. But this is like peak internet for other people.
Yes.
The Twitter was probably a flutter.
The Twitter?
I did that for you.
The TikTok actually became a nightmare. This is how I first heard about this case. And people even still to this day have their own weird little theories.
Oh, really?
People are nuts. There were self-proclaimed psychics on TikTok. There's amateur sleuths.
I love it when there's a psychic.
I know, right? I love
So funny.
a psychic moment.
Yeah.
Amateur sleuths were naming innocent people. Wild rumors were spreading faster than the police could squash them. There was actually, what I remember is they had a video of the girls at the food truck. Mm-hmm. And there was a guy in front of them that, like, talked to them.
Oh, how dare he.
And the internet went crazy. I think they actually, like, found him.
Oh.
And, like, blamed him for the, like, sometimes you need to relax.
Yeah, poor guy.
Yeah, so the police captain basically had to beg people to stop and saying that tracking down rumors was a huge distraction to the actual investigation.
Yeah, everyone thinks they're a superhero.
There was like a huge gag order actually on everything related to this case.
Good.
Meanwhile, the actual community was terrified. So the Moscow police initially said that there was no threat to the community. But 3 days later, they walked that back. They said that we cannot say that there is no threat to the community, which is not exactly reassuring. Students started to leave early for Thanksgiving break. Their parents were coming to pick them up. Professors were canceling classes. And the families of the victims were rightfully frustrated as well because the police were deliberately tight-lipped to protect the investigation. But to them, that silence felt like a void that the internet was all too happy to fill with garbage. So it's kind of like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Mm-hmm. 15,000 tips poured in by Christmas. And here's the thing. At this point, police had almost nothing concrete. They believed that the attack was targeted either towards the residents or its occupants, but they couldn't nail down a motive. They did not have a clean suspect. They had evidence from the scene, but it hadn't matched anybody in the national DNA database. But they did have one thing.
Ooh, what'd they have?
A white Hyundai Elantra. So surveillance footage caught a white or light-colored Elantra near the King Road house in the early morning hours of November 13th.
Good.
It didn't pass by once. It had multiple passes starting around 3:29 a.m., and the car went by 3 times. At 4:04 a.m., it came back a 4th time, and then at 4:20, it was seen speeding away from the neighborhood. On December 15th, police announced that they were searching records of approximately 22,000 fifth-generation Hyundai Elantras. That's a kind of like public announcement that tells you that they're reaching, they have a thread, they're pulling on it, but it is kind of a reach. But something did click. Let's talk about the actual evidence in the house because this is where it gets a little bit remarkable. At the crime scene, investigators found a tan leather knife sheath on Maddie Mogen's bed. The sheath had an insignia on it, K-bar, USMC Marine Corps symbols.
What?
It was the sheath for a military-style K-bar knife. I know what these are because I dated a guy, the psychopath that I dated.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you.
He suddenly started to really like knives.
Oh, don't love that for you.
No, and it's funny, like now looking back, I was like, wow, that's a good thing that's over. But my sister, she, bless her heart, you were right. She... At one point, I think, like, pulled me aside. She's like, don't you think it's weird that he's collecting knives suddenly?
Oh, thank you, Xana.
Yeah, and I was like, no. He's just really into wilderness.
You're so cute.
But yeah, so it's like he collected K-bars, which is why I know how to say it.
It's spooky.
It's pronounced, or it's spelled K-A-bar.
Okay,
So
I wouldn't have known that.
I would have called it K-bar.
Yeah,
but it's K-bar.
I'm with you.
They found the sheath and they pulled DNA from the sheath. They ran it through CODIS, which is the National Law Enforcement DNA database, and it had no match. So they took it to a forensic genealogy company called Othram. And Othram did something that's relatively new in forensics, which I love this investigation tool. Investigative genetic genealogy. They ended up building a family tree backwards from the DNA, trying to identify who this unknown person might be related to.
Cool.
The closest match that they found was shared only 70.7 centimorgans. Didn't even know that was a unit of measurement.
No, I'm not science.
No. With the suspect DNA. Basically, the equivalent of sharing a great-great-grandparent.
Nice.
Not close enough, but something.
Gets you in the realm. Right?
Yeah. So they tried to contact potential relatives, but the relatives declined.
Party poopers.
Isn't that weird? If I got that call, I'd be like, yeah, I'll give you whatever you need, but you have to tell me. I'm so nosy.
I think I would too, actually.
Yeah.
Because I would know it immediately if it were like my close family. Mm-hmm. Like if it were my children or husband, you'd know pretty quick. Well, they wouldn't call me for my husband because DNA is genetics.
No.
But if it were your kids, you'd be like, oh, that's not very removed. So you already know, you're like, it's not my immediate people. Sure. Yeah. Swab me.
I think that's how the Long Island there's one serial killer, I should know this, that was caught by genetic genealogy.
There's a few, I think, now, like generations forward.
Yeah.
But they're like, hey, you're related to so-and-so. What did he get up to?
It's interesting, hey?
It is very cool.
So the relatives declined. The FBI took over and they used 2 ancestral DNA websites, GEDmatch and MyHeritage. And that's where it gets a little bit thorny because the Bureau acknowledges that some of those users had not explicitly opted into law enforcement searches. So it's kind of a legal gray area that's been debated in this case. But it did work because they found a match with 250 shared centimorgans, which is significantly closer. And suddenly they had a family tree to look at. They started to watch a family in Pennsylvania.
Cool.
So meanwhile, investigators in Pullman, Washington had been looking at this white Elantra situation. There was one that was registered to a 28-year-old PhD student living in the WSU campus housing, and his name was Brian Christopher Kohberger. They pulled his cell phone records, and here's what they found. Kohberger's phone disconnected from the Pullman cell network at 2:47 a.m. on November 13th. It reconnected at 4:48 a.m. near Blaine, Idaho, which is along the U.S. Highway 95 south of Moscow. So he was moving away from Moscow and back towards Pullman. His phone had also pinged off of the cell tower nearest to 1122 King Road at least 12 times between June 2022 and November 13th.
Oh, he was watching them.
He had been in that area repeatedly over months before the murders. They also checked Kohberger's internet activity, and they found that he had purchased a K-bar knife on Amazon.
Dummy.
The murder weapon, or at least a weapon of the same type as the sheath that was left at the scene, was bought by him. But that weapon has still never been found. So the phone, the car, and the DNA leading towards his family, and repeated visits near the house and the knife purchase. But they needed to confirm it was actually his DNA. So Kohberger had driven home to Pennsylvania for the holidays to his parents' home in Monroe County in the Pocono Mountains. The FBI was already watching him. And what did they see?
I don't know. What?
I love you on 2 gins. You're so funny.
4 gins.
So Brian Kohberger walking outside wearing surgical gloves.
Ew.
Placing trash bags in a neighbor's garbage can. Multiple times. They collected the trash and they sent it to the Idaho State Lab. So, I don't know if you know, but when you put your garbage out on the street, it becomes public property.
I did not know that, actually.
So if you are a criminal and you dispose of something criminal in there, they have legal right to search your garbage. So the fact that he had gloves carrying garbage to his neighbor's house means that he knew that there was
suspicious
DNA that could. But like if he drank from a cup or like used a Q-tip.
So he's now at this point crazy about his DNA.
Yes.
Okay.
DNA from that trash that was in his neighbor's trash bin matched the DNA on the knife sheath from Maddie Mogen's bed. So they got him. They also watched him clean his car and like clean it. Top to bottom, inside, outside, not missing an inch, as one investigator put it. So not somebody who was washing the car because it's been a few weeks. It's somebody who knows what they might have left behind. Which is, I remember I live near a car wash. And I remember texting Stephanie once because it was like 7 a.m. And somebody was washing their car. I'm like, what did you do?
Oh, yes. But you also texted me about the loud semi outside of your house, too.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think he was a murderer.
I was just mad that somebody's parked.
I would be annoyed on your behalf. Yeah, that's too close to your house. And semis are loud.
They're so loud. He left it running. Like he was like taking a nap. I'm like, you can literally go somewhere else.
Yeah, it wasn't winter though. Like you didn't have to leave it on.
It's how you know that you're old. If somebody's parked in front of your house and you don't know them, it's weird.
Yeah, and they're running vehicles too loud.
Yeah. So on December 30th, 6.5 weeks after the murders, Pennsylvania State Police, SERT, and the FBI arrived at the Kohberger family home in the early morning. They found Brian in the kitchen, and he was dressed in a shirt and shorts, wearing examination gloves, sorting trash into separate Ziploc baggies. Like, sorry, if somebody's doing that in my house, a kid, brother, I mean, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, no, you're too crazy.
That's insane. So a search of the home turned up a knife, a pistol, a black face mask, and ID cards tucked inside a glove in a box. He was arrested on 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of felony burglary.
Wow, they got him good. Yeah.
And Here's the moment that was almost impossible to believe if you didn't know it was real. When the WSU police chief, Gary Jenkins, was told Kohberger's name by the Moscow PD investigators, who had gathered the entire team to reveal the suspect's identity, Jenkins says, "I know that name." Also, if your name is Jenkins, you have to be a detective.
Yeah, come on.
There's no other career for you.
That's low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. Gary Jenkins.
Easy.
I would pick that name for a book.
Mm-hmm.
He went back through his files and found that Kohberger had applied for a police internship with the Pullman Police Department in the fall of 2022.
Yeah, that's not where I thought this was going.
He had written an essay about helping rural law enforcement agencies improve how they collect and analyze.
Analyze is funny.
How they collect and analyze data.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Damn. So he applied to work for the cops, the same cops who weeks later would be looking for him. Which is just insane to me. That
is magnificent.
Yeah. Jenkins sent the resume and cover letter over, and the Moscow PD chief James Fry called him afterwards to thank him. And I'm not making this up. He said, "Aren't you glad that you didn't accept his application?"
Yeah, fucking yes I am.
Jenkins said, "More than you know." So let's back up and talk about this Brian guy, Brian Kohberger. So he was born on November 21st, 1984. Scorpio.
Thank you.
He grew up in Broadheadsville, Pennsylvania, in the Pocono Mountains. His dad worked maintenance, and his mom worked in the school system, and he has 2 older sisters. His high school friends described him as overweight and bullied. But
classic.
Yes, but he did lose 100 pounds his senior year, and then people noticed a major shift in him when that happened, like a switch had been flipped. But they couldn't really pinpoint what the switch was. So he didn't launch out of high school. Like, he attended a career and technical institute and then dropped out after a year. Then he worked as a security officer for a school district for a while. And then he went to community college. He got an associate's degree in psychology. Then he went to DeSales University and got a bachelor's in psychology and master's in criminal justice.
Wow. So he's quite educated.
Yeah. He was described by classmates and teachers as obsessed with criminology. Not just interested, obsessed. One classmate at WSU said that he would, quote, describe things in the most complicated, perhaps academic way possible, unquote. Like, he was always trying to convince people that he was the smartest guy in the room.
Oh, yeah.
I think we all know somebody like that.
Yeah, definitely.
That same classmate said that he seemed comfortable around other people and was very quick to offer his opinions. His old friends back in Pennsylvania, the ones who saw him at his lowest and the overweight kid that was getting bullied, said that he had turned it around. One said that his goal was to change the world for the good, and that through criminology he was trying to understand humans and trying to understand himself. That's a little weird.
Yeah.
In the summer of 2022, he packed up and he moved to Pullman, Washington to start his PhD in criminology at WSU. He was a teaching assistant in the Criminal Justice and Criminology Department, and he lived in campus housing less than 8 miles from Moscow, Idaho. And before he left DeSales, he posted something on Reddit.
Let's hear it. I'm excited.
This is the craziest part.
I'm intrigued.
Under the username criminology_student, he identified himself as Brian Kohberger.
He's stupid.
Yeah. Well, I think this is like a university thing, so I think you have to. But it'll make sense.
Okay.
He solicited participants for a research survey. He posted it across multiple subreddits, including one for ex-convicts. And here's what he wrote. My name is Brian, and I am inviting you to participate in a research project that seeks to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision-making when committing a crime. In particular, this study seeks to understand the story behind your most recent criminal offense, with an emphasis on your thoughts and feelings throughout your experience. The questions on the survey ask things like, why did you choose the victim or target over others? What was the first move that you made in order to accomplish your goal? How did you struggle or fight the victim? How did you travel and enter the location that the crime occurred? And after committing the crime, what were you thinking and feeling?
Wow. Okay.
Yeesh.
Yeah, like I took intro to criminology and I dropped it because I was like, no thanks.
And look at you now.
I know. I was posed with the question, if someone attached an explosive to random vehicles and they were timed to go off at random times, would you still get the satisfaction of murder? I'm like, I need to leave. This is not my class.
Well, what kind of questions that to ask?
I think it was to try to get into the mind of a criminal. Like, why would you do something so sporadic as opposed to something so direct as, like, stabbing or shooting.
Well, wouldn't the person get, like, because somebody's going to die either way.
I think if it's publicized, because they want, like, the recognition.
The attention.
Yeah, and so that's why I find it so interesting, and I really like that you really push the survivors.
Yeah.
Because we're not trying to publicize the murderers.
Yeah.
But we're celebrating the survivors or the victims and trying to memorialize them.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I like to see, though, how, like, what happens in an upbringing.
Yeah,
like,
how what the fuck happened to this guy?
Yeah.
Because he seems so academic.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
like,
it's very interesting. I'd like to see if something happened when he flipped.
So, he was asking criminals to map out their crimes start to finish, step by step. His professors later said that these were standard questions for a criminology student. By your example. Clinically, that's probably true. In the context of everything that came after, the phrase, "Why did you choose that victim or target over others?" reads very differently.
Yeah, that one's rough. That's a rough question.
When prosecutors later laid out the timeline of his phone pinging near the King Road house 12 plus times over 5 months before the murders, he was studying the house and watching the comings and goings and casing it. Those survey questions took on a whole new color. He had studied how killers pick their targets, and then he picked his. But why them? That question was actually never fully answered. There's a lot of speculation that he may have had some connection to or obsession with the house or its occupants, maybe from the bar scene, maybe from knowing one of them or knowing of them. But there was no concrete link that was ever publicly established. His motive remains officially unknown. He didn't tell anyone. He declined to speak at his sentencing. And the prosecutor said, and I think this is like the most honest thing that any official has said, "I don't believe there's anything that would come out of his mouth that would be the truth."
Wow.
I love when prosecutors are
But
sassy.
he's not a huge liar. Like, he hasn't lied the whole time. But do you think it's just because he studied criminology and he understands it? So he's trying to manipulate people?
I think he's like deeply narcissistic.
But did you get that from his upbringing?
No.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, he seems like it feels like a social experiment.
Yeah, I think he did want to see if he could get away with it.
And see, I think he was just crazy and curious.
Yeah, that too.
About the outcome of his murder. I do think it was random, which is very sad.
Yeah, there's a little bit of connection. Like, I think one of them had the same class as him or something like that. Like, I think it was just one of those things where, like, you smile at the wrong person.
Yeah, sadly opportunistic.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Kohberger was extradited back to Idaho in January of 2023. The judge entered a not guilty plea on his behalf since he refused to enter one himself. In June 2023, prosecutors announced that they were seeking the death penalty.
Wow. That's scary.
Given the nature of the crime, the aggravating circumstances of 4 first-degree murders, they felt that it was warranted. And for the next 2 years, the case churned through the legal system. The defense pushed back on the DNA evidence. They tried to get the genetic genealogy testing results thrown out, citing concerns about the methodology and the databases used. And that didn't work. They tried to argue that 4 other individuals could have committed the crime, what's called an alternate perpetrator defense. Because I think usually you do have to bring up another idea.
Yeah, you have to explore all avenues, I would say, yeah.
Yeah, so the judge shot that down hard. He said that the evidence that the defense presented about the 4 people was entirely irrelevant. They had given DNA and fingerprints to investigators. They were not connected to the crime scene at all. The judge said even if there was a shred of probative value in the argument, it would still be excluded under Idaho's rules of evidence. The trial was then moved to Boise, away from Moscow for obvious reasons. Jury selection was set to begin August 4th, 2025, and opening arguments were scheduled for August 18th. And then, on June 30th, 2025, 6 weeks before opening arguments, news broke that Kohberger had decided to plead guilty to all counts.
Wow, okay.
His deal was he got 4 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole, plus 10 years for burglary.
Instead of death?
Yeah. In exchange, prosecutors took the death penalty off the table, and then he waived his right to appeal. So he will die in prison.
Oh.
Then on July 2nd, 2025, Ada County Courthouse in Boise, Kohberger walks in wearing a button-down shirt, a tie, and khakis. He greeted his defense team and his parents with what was described as a wide smile. The judge, Stephen Hippler, went through the charges, and he asked Kohberger directly, "Are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?" And Kohberger said yes. Then Hippler named each victim. Did he kill and murder Kaylee Goncalves? Yes. Madison Mogen? Yes. Xana Kernodle? Yes. Ethan Chapin? Yes. So 4 yeses, and he was completely expressionless. His defense team has attributed his flat affect to him being on an autism spectrum disorder.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, good call. Good catch. Yeah. I was wondering. Yeah, because I don't know where on the spectrum he is. Some sources say that he was very autistic, and some say that he wasn't.
But for that switch to be academic to practical, without having much emotion, that was my tip.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. So the families were not unified in their response to this. The Mogen family supported the deal. They thanked the prosecutor and said that they believed that it was the best possible outcome. They said, "We lost our Maddie." The Chapin family, who had not attended any pretrial hearings, showed up to support the plea. Kaylee Goncalves' family was furious. They said that they first heard about a possible plea on a Friday and said that it was a hard no from them. And then on Monday, they got a letter saying that Kohberger's defense had already asked for a plea offer the week before.
So what did they want? Sorry, they wanted him to death?
I think so.
I don't know if that's justice.
Yeah, and I don't know how I would ever feel.
No, I think living with your guilt is worse.
Yes. I don't know.
I think living with your guilt is justice.
I think also, so in here, they felt blindsided and sidelined because nobody had really talked to them about it.
Fair. Well, yeah, fair.
Yeah. Sorry if you hear my cat. Everybody's chosen to disturb us today. So
where's Joey? He never bugs us. He's snoring, though.
He's in Penny's room.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why.
Kaylee's father said that he learned only in sentencing that she had been stabbed more than 30 times.
Oh, my. Okay, they should have known.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
And he didn't know that there was significant damage to her face. He stood outside the courthouse and said it was horrific what Kaylee went through. Her brother, Stephen, did not want to give his impact statement in court. He read it outside to reporters. He accused the prosecutor of choosing expedience over justice and said that the agreement was reached without our voice. The prosecutor, Bill Thompson, choked up during the plea hearing when he first finished reading the facts and said the victims' names. He later told reporters that I don't believe that there's anything that would come out of his mouth that would not further victimize the families. And he's not wrong. Mm-hmm. 3 weeks later, on July 23rd, 2025, the courtroom filled with family members of the victims. The 2 surviving roommates, Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funke, I'm so sorry if I'm butchering that last name, but Funk?
Probably Funk.
Yeah. So they gave victim impact statements. Friends spoke. Family members broke down. The sister of one victim called Kohberger a sociopath, a psychopath murderer, in what can only be described as a scathing, unflinching statement that she had clearly been building towards for 3 years. Ethan Chapin's family did not attend. Kohberger was given the opportunity to speak. His attorneys, and presumably Kohberger himself, knew that this moment was coming. He could have apologized. He could have offered some shred of explanation, acknowledgement of what he had done to these 4 people and these families and the community, and to Dylan Mortensen, who had saw him walk past her in the dark and has had to live with that image every single day. He declined. He said, "I respectfully decline." That's the only thing that he's ever said in court. Judge Hippler sentenced him to 4 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole, plus 10 years for the burglary charge. Fines totaling $250,000 with a restitution of $20,000 to $5,000 per victim's family. He will never get out. He has waived all of his appeals and he's done. So Moscow PD Corporal Brett Payne, one of the lead investigators, the man who wrote the arrest affidavit and conducted Kohberger's first interview at the Pennsylvania State Police Barracks on the day of his arrest, spoke outside of the courthouse after sentencing. He was there from the very beginning. He's the one who, the morning after Kohberger was arrested, sat across a table from him and watched Kohberger say that he recognized him from somewhere. Watching him express worry about his dog and his parents, and then when asked if he wanted to talk about the murders, he watched him say, "Well, I think I would need a lawyer." Oof. He was smart enough to know the game, and he was willing to play it to the end. So, the question that really sits with me, and I think everybody, is why them? Why this group of people? Mm-hmm. So Kohberger's phone pinged near that house more than a dozen times, like I said, and he was watching it and watching them. He was not an impulsive killer. Nothing about this suggests that. He planned and he researched, and he asked other criminals how they picked their targets, and then he picked his. Was it the house? Was it somebody specific in the house? Was it random in the sense that any busy off-campus full of young women could have been the target? We don't know because he doesn't say anything. The murder weapon still has never been found. It's a K-bar hunting knife that he bought on Amazon, and it exists somewhere. He had weeks before his arrest to dispose of it. Investigators think that he was meticulous enough to get rid of it cleanly, the same meticulousness that had him cleaning his car inch by inch and sorting his trash into Ziploc baggies. The 2 surviving roommates have said publicly that they live with trauma and anxiety every single day. Dylan Mortensen was in that house. She heard the crying, and she heard the voice say, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." She opened her door and she looked at him. She locked herself in her room while her roommates were already dead, and she's carried that. She told her story at sentencing, and I hope that she has a lot of support, because that is awful. The Goncalves family has said that they're planning to sue Washington State University, seeking accountability and transparency about Kohberger's conduct before the murders. So that fight's not over.
Why would that help them, though? Is it just they think they'll help him with closure?
I think overall that family, and this is just me speaking as like an outsider who knows nothing, I think that they really struggle with the closure of all of this because they weren't...
Because there's no point to it? It was a senseless killing?
Yeah, senseless. There was no point to it. They didn't feel included in the communication with the police and the prosecutors. Like they felt very excluded. And so when you like compound that on top of like... I guess in total they just had no closure.
Yeah.
And I think like when you feel that and you're like also dealing with grief, it's gonna, I don't know.
I really think he did it as a social experiment.
Yeah.
Like, why else would you leave the knife sheath? For someone who's so meticulous and methodical in every other piece of this, he did that on purpose. Like, this was an experiment to see if, like, how the prosecution and how the rest of the process would pan out.
I agree, and if he could actually get away with it.
And I don't think he could. He left the sheath on purpose.
Yeah.
I'm quite confident.
Yeah.
What do you think, Maisie? She agrees.
So in January 2026, Kohberger's sister spoke publicly for the first time since the arrest. She said that the family was shocked by his arrest and had no prior knowledge of his involvement. I believe her.
Yeah, I believe it too.
I think most people who knew him were genuinely shocked. The classmate who called him intelligent and opinionated, the childhood friends who watched him reinvent himself after high school, and the people who thought that his obsession with criminology was just passion for the field. Nobody saw this coming. And that weirdly is one of the most unsettling things about this case. He didn't fit the visible mold of a violent person. He was quiet. He was academically accomplished. He was the guy who was writing his PhD thesis day by day. And apparently capable of walking into a house in the middle of the night and killing 4 people in 25 minutes, then driving home and going back to sleep. So the question of why he posted that Reddit survey under his real name with his university email address, that one bothers me too. Was it arrogance? Did he genuinely believe that he would never get caught? Or was it part of him broadcasting something? What I do know is that Maddie Mogen was almost done school. She had a few more weeks until December graduation. Kaylee had a job lined up in Texas. Xana was a junior with her whole degree ahead of her. And Ethan was a sophomore, and he was a triplet. He was very close with his family, staying over at his girlfriend's place just because it was the weekend, and that's what you do. And they deserved to just be boring statistics. Just college kids getting their degrees and living life. They deserve to graduate, move, and get jobs and call their families from new apartments in new cities and have regular lives. But instead, they're known as the Idaho 4. And Brian Kohberger, the man who studied criminology and asked killers how they chose their targets, who drove past a house on King Road 12 times and thought about what he was going to do, is going to spend the rest of his life in prison in Idaho. This is the end of the case. But that's, I don't know, it's a heavy case. I feel so bad for the families. And like, I think often we feel bad for the victims' families, which is rightfully we do.
Yes. Yeah.
But then you also, a lot of people forget about the family of the suspect. Like, they had no idea that this was going on, right? And then
and I don't think you would. I think I think it was methodical, and I think his emotions were removed from it, but I think he was always maybe emotionally removed. Yeah. And so maybe the family did feel surprised, and it would be surprising, but
I couldn't find this as a verified fact, but I remember seeing somewhere where his sister said, when they said that they were looking for the Elantra or something, and he got home and he was really weird, he was acting strange. And I think one of the sisters said to the dad, I think Brian did this.
Wow, okay.
But I couldn't, it wasn't verified anywhere, so I didn't want to put it in.
And it's kind of a leap.
Yes.
At the time.
Yeah. And again, like imagine like you could be a parent to a weird kid or whatever.
Yeah.
But you're never going to think that your kid did that.
No, you'll never think they're capable of
4
4 murders with a knife.
Yeah. It's insane though. It's just awful. And then like when you look at the photos of the 4 of them together, like they were so close, and the 2 girls that grew up together. Mm-hmm. And I don't know.
I'm kind of surprised.
He's being Brian Koberger is just a fucking pain in the ass in jail too, apparently. Like he's vegan. He's organic vegan.
Like now or all of a sudden?
I don't know, but like in jail, like they have to make special accommodations.
Yes.
And then he like will complain about the food that he gets and says that it's like not high quality. He complains about like people being mean to him. Like, dude, you're in jail.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of the diagnoses over there.
Yeah.
Like you think everyone's going to accommodate to you. No.
Yeah.
You're in jail though now, bud.
Yeah, it's crazy. Mm-hmm. Like just a bizarre case, but
it is interesting, and it's very, very sad.
It is very,
but
sad.
Sadly, I think it was random.
Yeah, I think it was random, and he just pinpointed a house, and but also so brazen too, because you don't know if they're gonna have people over that night.
No, and I find in 2020 that he kind of cased the house 8 times. How is that not picked up more by campus security?
Well, it's off campus. This house is off campus.
Oh, okay, because sometimes the sorority houses are on campus. Like that's part of it. They have security going around.
Yeah, this one was like a far near SAIT.
So it wasn't flagged.
Like the house is near SAIT or like the university. Mm-hmm. That's like the equivalent of that house. So not campus housing, but like close enough. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's
too bad.
It's tragic. And yeah, like they had so many people coming and going because it's your college house, right? Like you're
social. You're meant to meet people in college.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Exactly. But the house is now demolished, actually.
I'm glad that murder house is demolished.
Yeah, it was. Nobody's gonna buy that.
Some people buy these crazy murder houses, though, so I'm a little bit surprised.
Yeah, this one I think they had to. They had to get rid of it. Mm. Yeah, it's a pretty tragic case. Sorry for ruining your day.
Yeah. Bye.